So, I now welcome Slink to the studio.
How you doing, guys? You all right?
Thank you very much for coming down.
It's a pleasure being here.
So we're going to have a little bit of a chat today about all things mental health.
Yep.
But first of all, before we do, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, obviously, I grew up in Small Heath born, Small Heath raised. I was there till I was about 18. Then I went to Coventry for 4 years. I went to uni at Coventry, did a psychology degree and whatnot. But obviously at uni, I became, my mental health took a bit of a nosedive, which is why I'm obviously here today to explain and just talk to you guys about my experiences. Got a lot of nephews, nieces, big family. Just been making music forever. Been writing. I've always enjoyed writing kind of like rhymes from a kid. I'll never forget when we had a poetry class at primary school. It wasn't a class, it was like a competition,
Yeah.
That was it. I came second place, but the winner of the poetry competition was going to be published in the Birmingham Books.
No
I was
way.
so jealous. I was so jealous that this other kid won first place. I was like, oh man. But yeah, I always kind of had like an interest in music as well because my dad's still in a band. He's a guitarist. He used to play lead guitar in a band called Steel and Velvet. He had a band called Y2K, and now he's part of a Big Ship Alliance group band, and they're like a Freddie McGregor tribute kind of band. So music's always been around me and stuff, and I've always liked hip hop. I never really had much hip hop albums as a kid, being kind of like church going family and stuff like that. So it's not going to be appropriate to get Dr. Dre blasted out. At 9 years of age, but yes, I just enjoy kind of like writing songs, and I feel that kind of helps me express how I feel about it.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, how does your creating your music? How does that help you? Sort of maybe particularly when you feel like you're not in a good place, or
it's great. I think that's the beauty of music and just writing. I think in particular hip hop as well, because you can convey anything you really feel, whether that's kind of like you feel down, whether that's you feel enlightened, you feel comedic, you feel a little bit kind of controversial and ignorant. You know what I mean? For me, if I'm feeling away throughout the week, I'll leave a Saturday morning to be like, right, let me find a beat. And I'll just kind of listen to the beat on YouTube or through producers that I know. Whatever I've been feeling through that week, I'll be able to kind of like express it through rhymes and stuff like that. It's a gift and a curse because...
Well, that's really nice though, that you actually get yourself that time once a week to sort of check in with yourself and, you know, process whatever you need to process from the week before.
Absolutely. Mine is definitely a Saturday morning. What I find I do is that when I'm kind of travelling to and from work, I'll just kind of like be like, right, and just jot some lyrics here and there. And Saturday morning will come along and I'll piece all of the lyrics that I've done throughout the week into a verse to the right beat. And it does help. It's like even down to kind of my mum, she has a severe mental health issue. She has had that before I was born.
Okay.
I wrote a song about it and experiences growing up with our family. In that household and what we had to see and stuff. It's called Mother's Love. So if you want to check that out, check out Slink Mother's Love on all streaming sites, and it's right there to listen to.
I like that.
Yeah,
a sneaky bit of promotion there.
Gotta plug myself, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, I mean, before we turn the mics on, we were talking a little bit about like your support network as well.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, it's great. It's like, I'm really lucky because I've got great friends. Like I've got like about 6 best friends. Like we all met each other at uni. Well, we became a group of friends at uni. So there's 3 of my friends, who are from Birmingham, but they're a year below me. But then I met another 3 friends who are from different parts of the country, and we've been good, close friends for like 20 years since 2003. And they've come to see me when I haven't been feeling great. They've helped me out a bit financially, support, and different bits and bobs. And not just them as well, just a few other people that I'm really cool with. But I think with mental health issues and with my experience is that when you become unwell, a lot of people either have no inclination of knowledge about mental health, they don't know what to do. And I feel that's a very, very kind of like similar experience to a lot of people who go through some type of a depression or a schizophrenia or bipolar or breakdown. It's a case of people just do not know what to do. So instead of trying to kind of perceive you how they would, because you've changed potentially because of your mental health, they walk away.
Yeah.
And I feel that's a very kind of like current thing that runs with a lot of people who kind of go through those experiences. But I say to people who I meet who have gone through those experiences, if they've walked away, don't be kind of like angry at them. It's just be understanding to say that potentially is our friendship kind of passing because they just don't get it, and that's fine, you know. But in terms of like family, I've got kind of like aunts and uncles, cousins and stuff. So I'm really lucky to have a support network I've had. And again, just being kind of having to go to the hospital because of my mental health. My first stay in 2008, people were coming every single day, and it was just really, really positive to know that I had so much people there to support me, so it's pretty cool.
I like that you remember, you said 2008, that was the first time that you remember.
2008 was the first time I went to hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And how are you doing now? That's probably an important question, isn't it?
That's a great question. I'm absolutely fine. I feel that I'm working at the NHS in mental health, which is really, really great as a peer support worker. That's my day job. So that's like kind of helping people with recovery, being a beacon of hope for recovery and to get on the right track, and to kind of like just what I'm speaking to you guys, have a good support network. And obviously outside of work, music's my whole thing. That's what I need to be doing.
I really like that you have had these experiences and you've dealt with them and you've come through them and you've thought, do you know what, I'm going to make this. I'm now going to help people because I've been there.
This is in any capacity. So even like doing this interview today with you guys, writing about kind of experiences at work as well, and talking to people, and just kind of like trying to spread like a story to inspire hope, and just like there is point of recovery. You may not get back to how you were before, but again, I tell you what else is brilliant as well, reading for well-being. So I've been reading a book that was called The Idiot Brain by Dean Burnett, which is fantastic. And it was kind of saying, I think that you might be able to kind of get back to where you were, but it's not like a bad thing, because having like that breakdown may be your brain's way of saying you're under too much stress.
Yeah, you need a break.
You need a break, like mind the pun, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really, really kind of like great to be reading and kind of just being like, this is what I've gone through, but this is me. I think that once people can kind of have that type of stance, it makes things particularly a bit easier, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So what sort of advice would you give to others who maybe they're listening today and, you're saying stuff and they're thinking, oh, that resonates with me. What would you say to them?
I'd say get a good support network and figure out who's not going to judge how you're feeling. It's really important to talk. I think, obviously, we were speaking off air before this interview. We speak about suicide rates jumping up by 200%.
Ridiculous numbers.
It's
crazy.
Just, boy. And by keeping things bottled in, it's not the way to do things, or even self-medicating with kind of illicit drugs. It's not the way to go. I'd say kind of speak to a GP or see if you can get some type of counselling. That's really hard because obviously just the kind of constraints on public service, because of government and whatnot. But maybe speak to a loved one who's not going to judge, to not understand and know that, okay, what steps do we need to do to kind of get you sorted. One of the things I've encountered in the work environment is a mental health first aid.
Yes, I've heard of that, yeah.
And there's something called ALGI, and I can't remember what the letters stand for in the acronym. I can't remember, but I know I think one of the E's is to kind of, no, I think the G is to give advice, encourage to speak to friends, and encourage to speak to a professional. And that's really important. And by doing that, you could potentially kind of save somebody's life, because from my experience, one of my closest friends who I grew up with, I've known since I was 10 years of age. It's really like bizarre how now I can be at this point now and look back at when I first became unwell, where I think it got really, really tricky. And he was the one who said to my family, I don't think, Jonathan's doing okay. And I don't know, what do you mean? I think he needs to see someone. I think Slink needs to see someone. And by doing that, it really reduced the potential for me to be ill for the rest of my life, totally and utterly. So again, support network is super imperative.
It's really nice to hear that you've got such a good support network.
Yeah, it's important. It's great.
I'm glad that you've got a really good people, a good group of people around you.
Definitely. And again, then it's just kind of like working out who's going to understand, who's a bit scared of what happened. But again, like if I'm thinking if people don't have any kind of education, psychoeducation, any awareness of any type of mental health stuff, and it's like happens to somebody, it's fine, because it's a hard thing to understand. Understanding the brain is hard in itself. And I'm a flipping psychology graduate, do you know what I mean? So
it's a complicated thing, isn't it?
Indeed.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
So what are your final hopes for yourself for the future?
Well, my hopes are that I'm going to keep writing music. I have a new mixtape coming out soon. That's not going to be on digital kind of streaming site. That's going to be like a CD hard copy.
Amazing.
That I'm going to pass around and trying to like Birmingham, different cities, more gigs. I perform quite a bit as well. At Poetry Jam, I've been doing regular performances at the Symphony Hall every Thursday of each month. First Thursday, sorry, of each month. And that's gone down really, really well. I've done Mother's Love, that song I was telling you about a cappella a few months ago, and everyone loved it. Gym's important. That's another thing I'd kind of say to people. Exercise. Yeah, exercise and diet, drinking water and plenty of sleep. And again, maybe reading. More hopes for the future is, let me think what I'm trying to think of. Just more music, really. Just more performing.
Yeah.
I'm also, I've started writing an autobiography.
Oh, cool.
Obviously, I'm not famous, but it's a case.
Yeah, but you're doing it for yourself, aren't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, like back to your point about giving hope to people.
Yeah.
It's like some people may not want to listen to rap music because it's not their bag. That's fine. But
read my book.
Yeah, but read the book instead. I want to plug it right there, you know. But yeah, so I literally started writing that I think it was about 7 months ago, and I wrote like 17,000 words.
Wow.
And I haven't even got to my point of secondary school yet. So it's going to be quite a big book. It's more than my flaming dissertation, so I did it back in the day. But yeah, I think I've read it through and I sent the draft to a few kind of primary school friends. And a lot of the responses have been like, oh my gosh, Slink, we had no idea all of those things were going on in your household when you were growing up. You know, your mum and poverty and bullying, and I've had a really, really complicated, complex childhood. And obviously psychologists say like childhood kind of trauma and stuff like that. And I don't try to focus on it, but I do understand how things in your childhood like shape the way you think. And when you hit an adult age, you do kind of revert maybe even subconsciously back to kind of things you've kind of learned and thought as a child, you know. So yes, I hope it's just to kind of complete that book, put it out there, and just do more performances, get the word out, get the story out, help to inspire. I never would ever want to be someone's role model. I think when you kind of look at people who, entertainment, sports, or in the limelight, people immediately think they're role models. I think, no, you need to kind of be about what you're good at and find out what you're about, and not look at the Kardashians.
It's about being true to yourself, innit?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I hope to do. Just inspire. You know, not be a role model, just inspire. Someone wants to kind of think, oh yeah, I want to make music, but I'm not a kind of this type of way that people think you need to be an MC, or I haven't got this look to be a singer. No, just do something. Just do it. That's it, Jen. Just do you. You know.
I like that.
That's my advice. But also, I say check out my kind of socials as well. So that's at Slinkification.
I like how you dropped that in right
I had
there.
to. So at Slinkification, that's on my YouTube, that's on my Insta, that's on my Twitter as well. And I've got the EP Toy Stories out on all streaming sites. Slink Toy Stories, and you should better check it out.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Cool.